It is a breaking news edition of the YouTube channel for BamaOnline.com. Travis Reier, Andrew Bone, and Tim Watts back with you. And guys, when we do this, it typically involves recruiting news, and this is an absolute massive pickup for the Alabama Crimson Tide. An elite offensive tackle, Jackson Lloyd from the state of California, Tim. I know anticipation is a word we've used with this one, but still a really, really good thing for Kalen DeBoer and his staff to see this one come to fruition.
Yeah, and we kind of felt the ebb and flow. Like you kind of thought this might happen earlier. I mean, again, this is a guy that's in Tuscaloosa 2 weeks after Kalen DeBoer's hired, Courtney Morgan's hired, beat some of the coaches here, and then came back again in April. And he's flying clear across the country from Carmel, California. And then we waited for that official visitor. Now he had a lot of interest. I think you can blame Charles Powers and Cody Belair to some degree because he was basically a 3-star everywhere, and they put him top 30 in the country. You see, he's 29th. And I agree. Great job, 3-sport athlete. Worked their tail off to get this guy. One of the first names we heard fresh off the plane was a guy to watch. We went straight, started watching him. Me and Andrew both loved him and what he brought to the table. And then we found out he's good at basketball and baseball. We're like, this guy's kind of a unicorn in this day and age. It's hard to play the big three that were staples for a lot of us in high school because the best players just, would end up on all the big three sports.
So, Andrew, talk about this path that Alabama has taken with Jackson Lloyd and the continuity of the coaching staff and going from Washington to Tuscaloosa and kind of how all that played out in Alabama's favor.
Yeah, and he was offered by Coach DeBoer and his staff at Washington last summer. It's been more than a year since he received that offer from Washington after going up to Seattle and camping. Went back to Seattle during the season, so that relationship goes back a long time. And then 2, 3 days after Coach DeBoer's hired at Alabama, I don't even think he'd moved into a house yet, and Jackson Lloyd received an offer from the Crimson Tide, and then he was on campus, as Tim mentioned, less than 2 weeks later. So there was definitely goes back to the relationship aspect. He had never visited Alabama before. The relationship with Coach DeBoer and that staff, Courtney Morgan, certainly played a big role in the interest. So he comes out to Tuscaloosa back in January, does not go anywhere else between January and May because, as Tim mentioned, he was playing basketball, he was playing baseball. He didn't go out to any camps. He didn't get seen by, the expert national recruiting analysts who were out there on the road going to all these different camps. But as Tim mentioned, Cody and Charles Power evaluated his film. They looked at his athletic profile and decided, this is a kid who's got a chance to be really special. 6'6", 295 pounds, and a tremendous athlete at the position. So big win there for Alabama. He took an official visit to Ohio State 2 weekends ago, coming off an unofficial visit to Ohio State. There was some buzz there with Ohio State coming out of his official, and a lot of people thought that Ohio State was trending. But as we kind of always say, you have to let the visit high die down. It was his first ever official visit, and those are usually a pretty good time. You never really have a bad official visit. It's very rare to have a horrible weekend when you go somewhere on an all expense paid trip. So great time in Columbus, but came back to Tuscaloosa for the third time. Saw the coaching staff again, and Alabama was able to close the deal.
And
I
Tim,
would I
go
would
ahead.
like to add real quick that buzz for Ohio State just came from Ohio State. When we dug into him when he's back home, we were told that is not true. Excited about. I saw one thing say he might cancel his Alabama visit. That Alabama visit was set in stone. So I just wanted to add that. Go ahead, Travis. I'm sorry.
As we run the huddle clips here, we're going to see a very athletic left tackle who reeks of multi sport background. I think when you watch Jackson Lloyd, Tim, you see some of those attributes that make him such a solid performer, not just in football, but in other sports. But you know what? First and foremost, that you like to see is this right here. How about a drive block into the end zone that ends with a pancake?
Yeah, I mean, he looks the part in every aspect. And here he's about to get off the line, twist this guy, body slam him. And hey, that's something we're seeing a trend of with the Alabama commitments. We've seen it with Michael Carroll. We've seen it with Mal Waldrop. We've seen some guys put him on the ground, finish the block. But with him, he's almost sort of like a blocking tight end to some degree, at that size. I mean, he's obviously going to carry over 300 pounds. I don't know how he weighs what he does, considering he plays three sports year round, and year round, literally, because he's playing basketball, baseball, and doing football stuff all summer as well. So you see that. I mean, you've seen his dunks. I've had a video sent to me of a inside the park home run. I mean, when you see this guy, there's just a lot, especially when you start looking to the upside of what he's gonna be. You already like what he is. Well, what's he gonna be? I mean, I think there's a lot of things you can mold with him.
Interesting too, Andrew, from this huddle tape. You see him play some defense like Michael Carroll that we saw previously. And again, that athleticism here, you see him initially show pass set. This is going to be a reverse back his way. He gets out here in space, not challenged all that much, but gets the job done. This is a play I love, Andrew. Watch this as the quarterback takes the snap. Looks like it's going to be a screen out to the left, but it's actually a lateral to the big tight end, Jackson Lloyd, who's going to look to throw the football here on a double pass, doesn't like the coverage, which he's right. His guy's covered, so he makes the right read as a passer, pulls it down, and now some poor linebacker's got to try to make a tackle on this guy.
In the open field.
Right.
Not
Yeah,
tracking
wouldn't
him
you love
from
to make that
behind.
tackle him? I think what Alabama really likes about this offensive line class so far is the versatility. You've got a lot of athletic guys. As you mentioned, Mike Carroll plays on both sides of football, and could get easily recruited as a defensive lineman. Mal Waldrop starts at left tackle for Central High School, but can play on the interior. Alabama's actually looking at him more as an interior guy, as a guard or a center. And then, look at Jackson Lloyd here. I mean, just a tremendous athlete at the position that can play. I think he's going to be a tackle. I think he's left or right tackle in the college system. I don't see him playing on the interior. And this has been one of Alabama's top overall tackle targets, pretty much since day one, as we've mentioned. And I think they are extremely excited to get him on board. It's going to be really interesting to kind of see how the rest of this class shakes out, because of 2 months ago we were talking about if Alabama can get 3 or 4 offensive linemen in this class, they're going to be great. It's going to be good. That's how many they're targeting. But now the success that they've had over the course of the last few weeks, bringing guys in that have all of a sudden moved Alabama, right near the top of their list, they're going to have a chance to potentially bring in 5 total offensive linemen, 5 really good linemen that they hold in high regard.
Man, this guy is an easy mover too at the tackle position. When you watch the footwork, Tim, and you watch the ability to bend and understanding that he's going to get to 300, 305 pounds. Maybe it's the area he's from. Maybe it's the C4 he seemingly has in his hands, but it's hard not to think of Jonah Williams a little bit,
Yeah.
when you think of this guy.
Yeah, that's just not low hanging fruit either from fans. I mean, there's college coaches who have said the same thing to me. Some from the Alabama staff that used to coach at Alabama, some that coached at other SEC schools. When I sent them his film, they thought the same thing. I think it is easy connection though with Jonah being in that area. What do you go, top 10, ninth overall or something? Really good player at Alabama. And the upside here again, the upside is what you're looking at because he's always a good player. I did find it funny. I was having a debate with one guy's like, everybody's smaller than him. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's not the land of the giants. I mean, what do you expect? But you put those guys on the edge at that size, smaller, quicker guys, they could cause them problems, but he holds his own. Again, I think just a tremendous job, not only with Jackson Lloyd, but setting up this offensive line class. Because our biggest question when we came in here was, is the philosophy going to change? Because we expected it to change a lot because, Bama had, we had to see Tyler Booker saying he dropped 20, 30 pounds. We saw J.C. Latham saying he dropped 20 pounds. A lot of these guys, Proctor's running around in his T-shirts and Nikes, but he looks like he's in much better shape. It's going to be thinner. So we knew it'd be a different world to some degree. But when you're calling like Jackson Lloyd or Michael Carroll, kind of like small guys. I mean, they're 310, 295. These are some, Mal Waldrop's 325, but it's a different body type that's going to be able to carry that 320 as comfortable as they want to. It's not going to lose their athleticism, which is the key with all of these guys.
Andrew, we know there are still some key guys that are out there for Alabama along the offensive line. That number is dwindling, of course, because of what Alabama's been able to do here of late at the position, just based on what they put together at this point. Where would you kind of say this stacks up with maybe some previous groups in terms of not just where it's at, but where it could be trending?
Well, you have to close. You have to close on some of these other guys, but they now have two offensive linemen who are both ranked in the top 30 overall. That's not 30 overall offensive linemen. That's top 30 overall players in the entire country with Jackson Lloyd and Mike Carroll both on board. So how's the rest of this class going to kind of shake out? We might know some answers here pretty soon. You have Micah DeBose, a four-star in-state lineman who's visited Alabama several times. He's going to take his official visit to Alabama this week, coming off an Ohio State visit where, once again, the Ohio State people, there's some buzz coming out of Columbus, but we feel like Alabama's done a really good job with Micah DeBose leading up to this point. I think that they've got a great chance to potentially close that this weekend. And then Ty Haywood. We've talked about Ty Haywood since his official visit on May the 31st. Grew up a big Alabama fan. It was his first time visiting Tuscaloosa. He was supposed to visit Oklahoma last weekend. There was some, he had to kind of reschedule this past last weekend. So we'll see if he ends up making a trip out to Oklahoma before a decision, but it's supposed to visit Florida State this week. So that's certainly one we're going to watch. Douglas Utu still available. Malachi Goodman, who just came off an official visit to Alabama. So those are the guys that we're really paying close attention to right now. David Sanders was supposed to take an official visit this week, but I think with Alabama, getting Jackson Lloyd, who actually committed over the weekend. He announced his decision today, but he committed to Alabama over the weekend. And then Alabama's position with some of these other guys probably just didn't serve either side good with bringing in David Sanders for an official, because Alabama was on the outside looking in for that one. There's some other schools that have been heavily involved with him for a long time. So I think it was just kind of a mutual decision not to come in for the official visit. So those are really the main guys that we are watching over the course of the next few days, couple weeks, maybe even less than a month.
Still a lot of decisions to be made, but I'll give you an easy one. That is to jump on board with us at BamaOnline.com right now. We've got the official visit special at BOL, $1 for 1 month. Come on. You're ready to do it. If you haven't already, make that move today. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel as of yet, right here, hit that subscribe button for us. Hit a like, a little thumbs up while you're at it. Turn on those notifications. We would greatly appreciate that as well. Anything else, Tim Watts, before we get out of here upon the big news that Jackson Lloyd has committed to the University of Alabama?
Yeah, I don't think you can undersell how big this was, but also I love the way the offensive class is evolving, because it was, we'll take 3 to 4, we'll take 4 to 5. Oh crap, these two want to come. I'm not sure there's a set number on this class, because you are going to have to balance rocking the boat with what you got and what you bring in. You're going to have to rock that. But I think they've got a set number. If they can get the 5 that their top guys are, if they can get that, again, I think they'll be happy and doing cartwheels as they can. And again, Jackson was a big, big part of that. Michael Carroll was a big, big part of that. And Mal Waldrop, we don't talk about him enough, and fans won't either, probably because he's not as highly ranked. But that was a full throttle effort from Clemson, who I know people kid around, but that's a hell of a recruiting job they do there. They're always top in the contention for the top 5. So that's a full court press for them. So I think the offensive line has shaped up nicely. It's not a surprise. You got Cap, who people love, and you got Courtney Morgan. You got two guys focused on it on top of the rest of the team. So just an A effort so far.
And there you go. Tim Watts, Andrew Bone chiming in on Alabama's latest commitment, elite offensive tackle Jackson Lloyd to the Crimson Tide. Thanks a lot for doing it, guys. And I get the sense we got a few more of these probably coming pretty soon.
Yeah, could be. We could be seeing each other, making fun of each other.
You never know. We don't
I'm
get
doing that
enough.
anyways.
We just can't. Yeah. Well, yeah, we're always doing that. But
Talk trash regardless.
for Andrew and Tim, thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for joining us at BamaOnline.com as well. And until next time, so long, everybody.